and then I put them on private on YouTube, and then I send you the link. So you're the only one that has the link. So that way you can go back if you're like, I don't remember what she said about this. You have it. So
okay, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I like doing that for people, and then they don't have to stress about writing notes or whatever. So what started you down this path of doing some shadow work?
Well, I've had a hard few years, and just within the last, I don't know, 6 months, maybe, well, my mother passed away in March, at the end of March.
I'm sorry.
So I've been alone a lot because I'm taking care of her house, getting, moving everything out. My husband's staying with my father because I'm his caregiver. It's just, there's a lot on me. And since I've been here alone, I don't know, I've just been, actually it even started a little before that, but that's the last 6 months, it's been, I guess, the spiritual awakening. I've always, since about the age of 14 or 15, I've considered myself a Christian.
Okay.
I became born again. I mean, you say, you're an ordained minister, so you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't have to go into any of that. So
you kind of went through a little bit of a crisis of faith there. I totally get it.
And stopped going to church about a year before the pandemic. Not like I'm not going to church, I just stopped.
Yeah.
And I've gone through a lot of physical stuff. I almost died a couple of times. Had to have a couple of emergency surgeries. All of that, I think, stemmed from just being overwhelmed at work. So all of that was happening, and I feel like I'm awakening. I'm getting in touch with a lot of just understanding, knowing things, stuff that I haven't done since I was a kid, Not that my parents always encouraged any kind of psychic ability type of things. That was never a problem, but I shut things down, and I feel like it's a lot of it. I'm just waking up, and I'm seeking understanding through tarot, through other things. And I haven't had a stop in my spirit of no, don't do that, it's bad. No, don't do that, it's evil. I feel like lots of people are starting to just kind of wake up. And I am so angry because of all the different things that have happened through the last few years. And I need to get rid of that. Oh, decline.
I'm trying.
I feel like I need to get rid of the anger.
Specific to send you.
Oh, okay. I know I'm sort of jumbled, but there's a lot. So,
well, what I was sending you before you even mentioned, a crisis of faith or spiritual awakening or anything like that. Mm-hmm. When you started talking just a little bit, so I used to teach a 4-week class on spiritual awakenings, what they are, getting, mm-hmm. working with the spiritual realm, etc. And so I'm literally going to send you the document from that.
Okay. I saw on your classes and different things that you offer that was one of the things, but I feel like if I don't clear out the rage and the anger and all of the emotions and the ups and downs and the emotional roller coaster, if I don't get rid of that, nothing else is going to work or stick so I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to start here, at least start to understand what shadow work is. Yes. Rather other than just I know I've been kind of purging emotions and going through some stuff, but if I could have just an understanding of what I'm going through, maybe, it would be good.
And this is it's driving me nuts. I'm like, I need
I
you to work correctly. I don't have time for your bullshit.
It's okay. I feel like I have a pretty good intuition, but I guess it's just I need confirmation. I need direction, and I need to clear all the junk out. I'm clearing out my mom's house. She was a bit of a hoarder, and it's like the more stuff that leaves, I feel like the clearer I am. So it's like a physical manifestation of what's going on inside of me, even though it's not my stuff. It was her stuff, but her shit has been, my problem for a really long time. So it's, clearing it all out Because I've been worried over all of this stuff for so long because I knew I was going to be the one that had to take care of it. So,
and unfortunately, I understand that on a very deep level. I lost my mom in 2014 to an aneurysm, and it was quick. And so even though I have a younger sister, and she kind of fell apart a little bit, and so it landed on me to do everything, and then we had family immediately fighting us over. It was crazy. And so I really, really understand. Like I didn't get a chance to process moving everything out of my mom's house because we had to get it all out that first weekend. So in between planning a funeral and dealing with my kids and grieving, I had to move an entire house, and my mom was a terrible hoarder too. And I just had to pack it up and move it into storage like that. So I didn't get to process for a while. So it's wonderful that you have the time that you can kind of process as you're going, instead of like, well, fuck, I'll process this, next year or whenever I can breathe. So the good aspect of that is that you are able to process it. And I'm sure that it's been extremely hard being the only one there. Like, I can't even imagine that. I had my sister and my husband at the time helping me pack and so on. But in dealing with also your father who's still here, things like that, that's a lot. And so I can see where that very, very quickly shoved you into a dark night of the soul, which is usually the first thing that happens. When you have something traumatic that shoves you into a spiritual awakening, you literally, it's almost like you go into this super deep depression, but when you try to take anything for it, it makes it worse because you're not actually depressed. It's just, you're now operating a little higher than where you were. So instead of being down here, you're now here. And losing a parent, especially the first parent, that's the serious blow. So I understand being in that club. It's not a nice club to welcome anybody to. So, but I'm actually glad to hear you say that you were angry about things, because most people mask that and they just, well, I'm just really, really depressed. And it's like, well, you have anger. Like everybody has anger at everything when you lose your parent. You get angry at the universe, you get angry at God, you get angry at the angels. It's like, you literally get angry at all of it. Like, I don't understand this. And then there's other places too, because there's always someone or something in there, whether it's in the medical area, whether it's siblings, whether it's family, whatever, that doesn't do what they're supposed to do, that doesn't act how they should act. And there's always one person that's greedy. And so a lot of times anger is the first emotion that pops up because it's easy. You know what anger is, when you're mad. So it's easy to be angry and stay angry. And sometimes, I know with me in particular, that anger can fuel me to do some shit. Like I can get all kinds of stuff done if I'm angry. Like my house has never been cleaner unless I'm angry. But so being angry is actually a good thing. It's actually a good thing. It gives you that fire to process through the rest of the stuff. And for some people, anger helps them it acts like their safety blanket, their shield a little bit. So even though you're angry on the outside, you're processing other things on the inside.
Yeah, it's my go-to, I think, is anger. It's like keeps everybody away from me. It protects me. So
and that's what I was saying. It's kind of a safety blanket. It allows you to put that front up, well, I'm angry about this, I'm angry about that. But the problem is you have to be careful not to stay there too long. Because in staying there, you start to find little tiny things to be angry about and use them, even though it's not really anything that normally you'd be angry about. But the light bulb in the kitchen burnt out, and now you're like just screaming at everybody,
screaming and furious.
It's a light bulb, like I'll change it for you. So
right, you look like a crazy person, but it's because of everything else. It's not that light bulb, it's just that was the catalyst that makes you like blow. Exactly. That's so where I am right now. And it started kind of like 2018 is when all of this started. It's like it's just been thing after thing after thing. And I'm like, okay, now I'm here. So it's like, it's been like, I've been on like a water slide, and then all of a sudden I'm here.
Yeah.
And I feel like, okay, well now I'm here. This is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm kind of getting a break. I feel like things are sort of lifting, but
Good.
I don't know what to do about it.
Good. So
I'm blocked. I don't, I just feel like closed in, like I can't, with the things that are in here, I can't get them out. I can't really formulate what I'm thinking or get out what I want to say, or I'm blocked. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you see you're smart enough to see where you're at and know, okay, I know I need to move forward, but I can't, like there's a wall there. I can't. So with shadow work in particular, and I'm also glad that you were, even me or anybody else, I'm always glad to hear when people reach out, because a lot of times when you get online and you start looking at it, you can kind of find out what it is and so on. But then you find all these exercises and they look great, but most of them that are out there are either like middle or like advanced. And so it's like, well, where's this? Like, I need this bottom part. So that's what I sent you okay. I'm gonna scoot back in my chair. I've been sitting on the edge of my chair all day and my butt hurts. You know what I mean? Like your butt bone starts to hurt. You're like, I gotta move. But it's a lot of lower things. And one of the first exercises in there, and I will tell you, some of the most insanely hard things you're going to do in that notebook, in that workbook, are the ones where you have to write something nice to yourself. Everybody struggles with those more than anything. But there will be, every single exercise in there is designed to have you move forward through things you don't even realize are holding you back. And it gives you the building blocks of going forward. Because when you do, so you said you lost your mom in March. So how long have you had anybody helping you at all? Aside
I have
from
a
your
few
husband?
friends. I have a few friends that have come and help. And then we've had to repair some stuff. So I've had like a handyman that's come and helped. My husband does a little bit what he can. He sort of had a nervous breakdown in 2019. And we sort of separated, not like legally separated, but we separated because he's bipolar and he was having a really bad episode. And I kicked him out, made him go stay with his sisters. And so he's doing better. He's still he's depressed. He's not manic now.
Yeah.
And it had been like 30 years since he'd had an episode. It was just, I had a dog when we got married that passed away, like that he'd become attached to. And when my dog passed away, it sent him into this nervous, like bipolar nervous breakdown. And so he's been just coming back out of it. Like while I'm here, he's been staying with my dad and helping me in a way. So I can't put too much on him because he just can't, he can't finish tasks. He can't do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's helped a little. I have a couple of friends that help. And then it's pretty much me. And then I have a couple of half siblings that are not a help, that are the opposite of help.
Yeah.
That pop in and out and have taken some of the stuff. So that's been good. But it's like that's a whole nother thing. And who else? That's about it as far as, and then I'm here all the time. So I have some recent disabilities. That's I had to leave my job because of it. So I can't do a lot, but I do a little bit, and then I'll recover for a couple of days, and then I'll do some more, like scrape the wallpaper in the bathroom and then do some more. So slowly but surely we're getting it together because I need to rent this place, and I have a lady in line and she's going to take care of my mother's animals. I mean, it's going to be great, but we just have to get there.
Yeah.
We have to get there. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you have an end goal, and I'm glad you have somebody already kind of waiting, because that helps. Knowing somebody's waiting, that helps, instead of just Well, when I get
We'll
it
get
done,
to
then I
it.
have to
Yeah.
do this. Yeah. So one of the things, well, a lot of the things in going through this dark period, you really have to be careful not to isolate yourself too much. So that's why I was asking if you had people. So I'm glad that you have a couple friends that can come over and help, because sometimes, especially being in your mom's house with her things and all the memories there, it gets overwhelming. So having people to pull you back to like, okay, here's reality back here. You know, you can't stay too long in there.
Yeah, I have to leave. I have to go take care of my dad. You know, I'm his caregiver, so I've got to be there part of the week.
Yeah.
And then my mother has a bunch of dogs and a cat, and you know, so I have to be present for them. So
Yeah.
that's good. All of the animals keep me grounded.
That's good.
Present. So
that's good. And I'm sure that they miss her a lot too. They don't, you know,
yeah,
they
it
know
was hard.
she's
It was
gone.
hard. It was
Yeah.
hard for them. And they were never with anyone else. They didn't even know me really. I mean, I visit, but they don't
Yeah.
know me.
Yeah.
And they hid from me. One of them hid from me for the first week I was here, you know.
Mhm.
It was sad. It was so sad, but
Yeah.
they've come around now. Now they won't leave my side.
Yeah.
So I've got an entourage wherever I go.
Well, I mean, they're grieving too. So,
You know, it's
So-
fine. It's fine. And I make it work, you know. So I
That's
take them
good.
with me as much as I can.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that you have somebody that will help you take care of them too.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? There was something else I was going to say in going through some of this. Trying to make sure I've got it all saved correctly before I can. So okay, I know what I was going to say. So, when it comes to some of the stuff you've already been looking at with yourself, some of the dark side, some of the shadow side. So shadow work itself is dealing with the dark aspects of yourself. They're usually much easier to see in other people than they are in ourselves. And I always tell people it's usually the thing that makes your biggest pet peeve about other people is usually one of the first things you have to work on with yourself. Like with me, it's people that are rude. And so then I have to look at like, am I being rude right now? You know, it's starting with something little bitty like that. It doesn't seem like a lot, but in starting with something little bitty like that, it starts to shift you into looking at everything as you do it. Instead of just making a decision like that, you start to look at everything before you do it. Like, okay, like how do I need to word this so I don't sound like a dick? Or how do I need to word this so I get my point across, even though I want to punch you in the face? So like those kind of things. But let's see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to export that. It won't let me send it just as a document. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll make it as a damn PDF. I don't understand why it won't let me just send it that way. I'm like, I'm just trying to be nice and send information. Like, that's all I want to do. Once you get past those first aspects of it, you're going to deal a lot with, for you, it will probably be a lot with family trauma. It will probably be a lot with, burden is not the right word, but the responsibility of now having to take care of your dad, having to take care of your husband altogether, because that's going to put a lot on your plate and it's going to push all of that on you like a steel bubble. So you're going to have to really be careful that you don't overwhelm yourself. So I wouldn't recommend just flinging yourself hardcore into a lot of shadow work. I would do it as you feel like you can handle it. Don't feel like you need to push yourself to do something, because you've got a lot on your plate. You've got a lot on your plate. This is killing me. I just want to, I'm like, I'm trying not to get frustrated, but I'm getting frustrated. You might actually see me frustrated right now. Most people don't get to see me frustrated, but so I'll send it to you in a minute. I'm like, stop it. I'll send it to you in a minute. It has a lot of really good information in it. And it goes through what a spiritual awakening is, the physical, the emotional, and the mental symptoms of it. Most people realize the emotional and the spiritual symptoms, but there's a lot of physical symptoms. And I have a feeling probably in going through there, you're going to go, Oh my God. Oh my God. But it's kind of like a spiritual awakening is kind of like going through the stages of grief. There's never like, you have to go through these steps like this. It looks like somebody writing cursive with their foot. Like it's just crazy. And so like literally one day you may be all the way over here and then now you're back here. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's literally just like grief. And in a way it kind of is, because you're grieving who you used to be, because now you're somebody completely different. So you are going to have things that you cut out of your life. You're going to have people you cut out of your life. You're going to find yourself gravitating toward people that operate on your level now, and you'll continue to go up levels, and there will be people that fall off that don't want to come with you. So that's one thing that sucks too. So you have to kind of prepare yourself for that. Every level you go through, you'll find new people and you'll lose people, because some people, they're happy to go through it with you. They may have been going through it for a long time, but they don't know how to process it, and they haven't had someone that they can go with. So they're happy to go with you. They're happily, they'll take your hand and walk with you the whole way. Other people they'll only walk a little bit and then they're not ready. They haven't hit that other part. So you're going to go through a lot of times when you're going to hit another level up, things are going to happen. And it will usually be at a very inopportune time and at a time when you were like, I'm over that. Like I processed that. Why is this popping back up? Especially with losing a parent. I mean, I still have times when I have things pop up and they just hit me weird. And I'm like, why am I crying over this? Like, I haven't cried over this in a long time, but it just hit me that day. So when it happens, just acknowledge it and don't be angry at yourself, because that's one thing I had to focus on, was not being angry at myself. Like, you've already processed this. You've already cried over this. How many times? You've been fine for 2 years. Like, why are you crying now? So it'll happen. So don't be too hard on yourself and don't push yourself too much. So what kind of questions do you have about where you are, etc.?
I guess I just want to know, like, kind of where to start, or a lot of the connecting I've been doing lately is like on TikTok, which just seems ridiculous, but I don't know. That's where I'm finding truth right now.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is so shut down. It's not like you can just waltz into places, or I don't get to see people, and, so, and then I want to know where to start. And then I don't even know how to word it exactly. Like, I feel like you're sincere, and I feel like I can trust you, and I can ask questions, and you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know yet. I don't know where to start.
I try to be very, very honest, because especially when it comes to anything with the spiritual awakening, anything with dark night of the soul, I didn't have anybody to help me. And unfortunately, not only did I not have anybody to help me, but I was married to someone who was very narcissistic. And so he's never lost a parent. And so when 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 2 months later, when I lost my mom, I lost her in April. And then 2 months later, I almost lost my sister to an aneurysm. And then 2 months after that, I almost ended up in a diabetic coma, because when I told my husband, I was like, hey, I don't feel good. Like, I feel like something hit me in the chest, like I didn't know I was diabetic. And so he told me to go to bed, that I'd be fine. And so the next morning I still felt bad. And I went to the emergency room, and they were like, why didn't you come in last night? Like, my sugar was they were like, I don't know how you woke up this morning. And I mean, so it was just things like that. I had someone that literally was like, you're fine. You're fine. You don't need, I don't know why you're upset. You're fine. And then they put the focus on them. So I had to shift all of that to taking care of them. So I didn't have anybody or anything to help me through. I had to figure out on my own and research and try to read all this stuff. And then you read one thing and it says this, and then you read something else and it literally says the opposite. And you're like, oh, fuck. Okay. So I mean, it gets very frustrating.
Yeah.
I love TikTok for all of the different points of views and all of the different information, because you're hearing a first person account of what
Mhm.
this person went through. And
Yeah.
so it's wonderful to go through there and see, okay, this person went through almost exactly what I'm going through, and this is how they handled it. And this person went through something very similar, but they handled it this way. And then you can kind of tailor, okay, I like what they did here and I like what they did here, so I'm going to put
Yeah.
those two together. So you can almost build your own treatment plan in a way by looking at TikTok. And so I know I tell a lot of people, I'm like, don't get all your information off TikTok. But when it comes to this stuff particular, especially when dealing with grief,
Yeah.
it's wonderful, to know you're not alone, and it's not just somebody writing an article. You're seeing their face and you're hearing their voice, and you're hearing that pain in there, because you
Right.
start to recognize it in other people very quickly.
Well, you're also seeing like, yeah, you can, I can kind of sense from people whether they're full of shit or not. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
that element to it too. You can read something and okay, that's fine. It looks okay on paper. But if the person who's creating that, who's writing that, isn't sincere, is full of shit, doesn't mean it, is taking advantage. You know what I mean? Like you can get that when you're talking to them or listening to them.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect. And it's just I'm having a paradigm shift, with what I see, what I believe, what I'm understanding, like with, in the Bible, it's like, oh, divination, you have to stay away from divination. And I'm like, but this isn't divination. It's prayer. You know what I mean? Like spells are prayer. Like I'm seeing things just differently. Like I don't have to do spells. I don't have to be a witch, but I'm a person who's communicating with the God of the universe. It's the same God. It's the same energy, whatever you want to call it. And I'm seeing these connections that I didn't see before.
Right.
And one of your videos, you were talking about hair magic.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh my God, I used to do that. Like, I didn't know that was a thing, but I used to do that when I was a teenager, in the 80s. I would braid ribbons into my hair and I would pray for my friends. And I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Or I would make blankets for people. I called them prayer blankets, and every stitch I would pray for them.
Yeah.
And then I would give it to them, and then they would be covered in prayer. And I'm like, wait, I didn't know that was like a thing, if that makes sense. And I don't know, that's like where I'm having a paradigm shift. Understanding things more clearly and going, I can glean wisdom and practices from people. And I have my own intention and my own way of worship, but I can use those things as tools. They're just tools.
Well, one thing that I will tell you is I work with a lot of people that they grew up Christian, they went through a shift, and they didn't let go of those values or the things they've always known. They've added those into what they believe now. I know Christian witches, I know Christian Buddhists, like the whole gamut. But one of the wonderful things, something that happened to me was I really got mad at everything. I mean, I went through exactly what you're going through. I was pissed because I didn't, losing someone very quickly, you get very angry because it's like, that's not fair. Like, why is this person's mom still here and they're a shitty person and my mom was a good person and they're not, you get really angry. So then you started to question everything. And what's funny is losing my mom is actually what pushed me to get ordained, because I knew way too many people that either were going through some shifts, they were just trying too hard. I don't know if that makes sense. They were trying too hard to evolve. So I really started looking at Buddhism. I started looking at all these different things. And one of the things I started really shifting my belief in from one specific way, I didn't grow up very Christian. I grew up with parents who, they were very, I call them upper middle class hippies is what I call my parents, because if we wanted to know something, they were like, well, let's go find out. Like I grew up right outside of Denver, and there's every kind of temple, museum, anything you could want there. So if we weren't there, we were in the mountains. Like we were always doing something. So I grew up with all of this stuff. So as I was going through my own issues and dealing with stuff, I found that every kind of religion or different thing I looked at had stuff I agreed with and stuff I didn't. And then I was like, you know what? My way of thinking evolved to, what if every religion is correct? They just don't have it all correct.
Yeah.
There's parts from everything. And then after you start really delving into it and looking, one of the classes that we teach in that year-long program, we teach over about 43 different religions. And the main reason that I teach a class over that is because I want people to see their basic beliefs, like their incarnation, reincarnation, whatever, their beliefs on death and so on. They almost all line up. I mean, there's slight differences and sometimes they're major, but for the most part, they line up. And so I tell people, I'm like, so you can be this and this, you can be this and this, you can be all of these things. You don't have to put yourself in one single bucket anymore. So that's another wonderful thing that I think social media and the internet and TikTok has done, is allowing people the freedom to think, okay, I don't have to just be this anymore. I can literally be what I want to be. So I consider myself,
you can kind of sample a lot of things
exactly,
and kind of see where your interests go or where your heart goes or whatever it is that, you know, if you're like, wherever your dancing moves take you, you know, whatever it is, comedy, there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
And if you're looking into spiritual things, you can kind of sample little things and glean wisdom from it. And I mean, if you look at just what Jesus was teaching and not look at religion, I don't think he would have a problem with that. He wanted everyone to be together, and he wasn't casting people aside or judge. He was like, the only person who can really judge is God, and he's not even doing that. Basically, like, chill. Everybody just chill.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't do it. We got to have our nose in everybody else's business.
Yeah. So I'm also going to send you. So I did get that document sent. So you've got 2 documents waiting there. So, and I think they're both PDFs. One is that shadow workbook. Oh, let me see here. Yeah, one is the shadow workbook. Okay, and it did send the other one, the spiritual awakening one. So I would read the spiritual awakening one first. I want to say it's like 5 or 6 pages. It's not that long, but and then I'm gonna send you the title of this other book.
Okay.
So it's called Becoming Nobody by Ram Dass. And it's on Audible and all that stuff. And if you get it on Audible, he actually narrates it. He's passed away now, but he actually narrates it, and he's very dry, but he's hilarious at the same time. But I think that it will help you. I think that it will help.
And Audible is right up my alley. Audible is one of my friends right now.
Good. Yeah. It's more of a spiritual book. It doesn't go Christian or pagan. It doesn't go any of that. It's more of learning how to not put those limitations on yourself. And it is some shadow work. Like he walks you through some of it, but like I said, he's really funny. Like he's really dry, but him reading his own words is even better. Like it's one of the ones I recommend to almost everybody that just starts getting into this. And you'll see a lot of people go, oh, well, you need to look at Carl Jung and blah, blah, blah. A lot of people aren't ready for that yet when they first hit that spiritual awakening, because he's kind of hardcore with some stuff. I do love Carl Jung, and I will read through and listen to a lot of his stuff repeatedly, but Ram Dass is very level with it, and he just kind of eases you into it. But like I said, it's more of a spiritual looking at yourself in a different way, not so much like here's this practice and that practice. It's evolving your soul a little bit. So I think it will help you tremendously, and it's entertaining. So
all right, I look forward to listening to that. That's good.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it. So I feel like you have more questions. You probably have so many questions. It's not even funny, but, and you may have even more after reading those. So
Yeah, I think that I probably will. What else do I want to know? I guess this is a good start. I just want direction and confirmation. Just like, I feel like I don't have anybody to just bounce this off of. Like,
yeah.
like, I feel like everything's changing.
Mhm.
I feel like something's coming. I don't know what it is. And other people have been saying that, you know, they also feel like there's something like a storm brewing. And I guess I just want to be ready.
Yeah.
I
So
don't want to.
a lot of people in the spiritual community feel like mid to late September is something really, really big that's going to happen, but nobody can pinpoint what they feel it is. So yeah, it's really hard. I mean, and what's funny is people that are spiritual, people that are not spiritual, people that are way this side of spiritual, and people that are just starting, like, you feel it barreling down on you, and there's no real way to prepare for it. That's what sucks. Because nobody, I mean, I know people that were my mentors and stuff like that, they feel it too, and they're in the same boat. They're like, you know, I've meditated, I've talked to my guides, I've asked, you know, I don't know. And so they're kind of doing what I'm doing. Like, I've got a little food stored, I've got some water stored, I've got this, I've got that, you know,
Yeah.
but
I know. I'm kind of grabbing some books. I'm like, maybe I should have some books around of like how to do things,
yeah.
like how to plant a garden, how to make a clothes. What is everything going to collapse? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be good to have some like how-to things. You know, that's what I'm kind of gathering out of the stuff that I'm actually getting rid of. I've been kind of keeping like household tips, how to, you know, whatever. Just, I feel like maybe we won't have access to the things that we have access to anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And that's
So,
kind of what a lot of people feel. They feel like it's almost like the world's fixing to break, but in a different way than the shutdown broke. So yeah, you're not alone in that way of thinking, trust me. And there are some videos there on TikTok, some accounts, they get pretty far out there with some stuff. But what's funny is,
I don't want to panic. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like freak out. I'm like, this is probably just a good idea.
Yeah. And that's really all you can do. And that's what Pam and I have been kind of telling people. However you feel you need to prepare is how your guides are pushing you to prepare. Because not everybody has the same talents, the same skills, the same knowledge. So, you know, the things that you might prepare for and be good at are things that I probably am like, I have no idea how to do that. Like, I know how to sew a little bit, like I can repair some shit. That's about it. But I'm sure I know other people that are like, I can make all of this stuff out of nothing. But you know, at the same time, I keep looking over there because that's where all of it is, but I have like 200 herbs in my house, you know, and I do a lot of herbal things. I do a lot of healing work and things like that. So whereas I might have that skill, you know, I might have to trade like, hey, I have this skill in these things.
This is what I'm thinking.
I need some pants.
This is what I'm thinking. Like, maybe it's just, you know, we're going to need each other coming up here. We're going to need to have, you know how to do, not just think about things, but know how to actually do things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. And I don't know. I mean, it's easy to look at things and get really worried and like fall down that rabbit hole. But then part of you has to pull yourself back. Like, hopefully people are adults and that's not where we're going.
Right. No, I can't walk around in fear. I you know, that would be the end of me. You know, I can't walk around in fear, but you know, I'm just sort of taking precautions, you know. I don't think there's anything wrong with being wise or protecting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't walk around and be afraid of every, you know, every shadow behind every tree, you know.
Yeah.
Can't live.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people, especially in going through some of their own spiritual awakenings, they do let that fear take over, and they do completely fall down that rabbit hole. And unfortunately, those are the people that if or when or whatever something does break or happen, those are the ones you'll have to worry about, because I told you, and then they're gonna free for all it. So yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it.
And I just want to be ready.
Yeah.
Ready. So I guess that's why I just want some direction, like where to start. I don't know where to start. I can look on the internet and there's all kinds of workbooks and whatever, but I just feel like, let me ask somebody that I feel is sincere.
Yeah.
Find a place where I can start, and then just kind of take it from there. I feel like I've just naturally just had urges to kind of, get rid of things, clear things. I don't know, light a candle, just different things that I've never been led to do. And then I'll go back and like read about like, well, what's the symbol? Why do I feel like I should really need to do this every night? And I'll go back and I'll kind of look up things, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's protection, or it's, clearing things out, or it's okay, well, maybe it's just my spirit guides, whatever. The Holy Spirit's leading me to be mindful, be alert.
Yeah.
So I just want to know I'm on the right path. Going in the right direction. I'm hearing clearly. I don't know.
I think you are.
I'm so overwhelmed by everything that's happened in a few years.
And that happens too. When you first hit that spiritual awakening and stuff, it is overwhelming, because it's like, oh my God, there's so much shit out there. I had no idea there was this much.
I'm just
it's really like going from kindergarten to being a senior in high school, like that. So you realize how much more there is out there, and it gets overwhelming. And so I always tell people, I'm like, give yourself permission to fall down the rabbit hole. Like, start in one place. And then, if you see a video pop up, or, whether maybe you're online on the internet and you start to see, an article for this or something weird that's not even related to what you're looking at. YouTube is wonderful for that. Not even what you were looking at to begin with, but you're like, I need to look at that. And so then you fall down that rabbit, and it leads you somewhere else that really resonates you. That's a message you really needed to hear. So don't force yourself to like, okay, I have to start learning this first, and then this and this. Just let yourself fall down the rabbit hole, because your guides, Holy Spirit, the universe, everybody will push you where you need to go, where you need to be learning right then. So, and usually along the way are all kinds of little snippets and tidbits, like, and it just resonates with you deep in your gut, and you're like, I know I'm in the right place. Like, my hair stands on end. Like, I know I'm in the right place. So give yourself permission to fall down the rabbit hole.
Oh, another thing is there any music that?
Oh, yes.
I need music. I need that right
Perfect.
now.
I'm typing these to you right now.
That's how I connect to God.
So
singing and worshiping.
There are types of frequencies you can listen to. And I always murder the name when I say it, but it's like solfeggio. So yeah, frequencies. There's 9 of them. And if you look them up, they're all for different things, but they are set to music on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube. Like, you can find them anywhere. You can find them just 2 or 3 minute long songs, or hours long. And you could play them while you're working, while you're doing stuff, or even while you sleep, and it will help you process through things. So they're wonderful, wonderful. Like, I pretty much recommend them to everybody. Like, hey, you definitely need to be listening to these. And I will tell you, out of the 9, the top one is like 963. It can give you a headache sometimes. So be careful listening to that one too much. So I usually tell people, find you a playlist that has all 9 of them, and just kind of let it go. And then move on to listening to just one all day or while you're sleeping, because that 9 one, when I first started listening to them, it would wake me up with a headache. I'd let the playlist play and I would wake up during that one with a headache, because it's that one kind of is shoving you forward. It's opening your third eye and really pushing you to connect. So you have to do it in small bursts.
That's hard if you're trying to sleep. If it's open your third eye, it's gonna, yeah,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get any rest.
Yeah. It wakes you up with a pretty good headache. I mean, as soon as it's off, so I got to where as soon as I started to feel that headache, I would just roll over and hit my phone like, no, and it would go to the next one. So yeah, but now I can sleep to him. It doesn't bother me now. So,
Okay.
but yeah, that will help you tremendously. It will also help the animals too.
Okay.
So yeah.
I feel like I need that. I need music that's not, I just don't know. I'm just, nothing from before is connecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing from before. I'm not in the same place. So it's not doing what it needs to do, or it's not helping me connect. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Yeah. Okay.
I got you. We'll get it figured out. I promise. I can feel that I'm lost. So no, I got it. I got it. So, well, start by reading that spiritual awakening document I sent you, and then open up the shadow workbook and look at it. And it's not very long. It's just, I want to say it's 7 or 8 different exercises, but don't push yourself to do them all at once. Do usually when we have that class, we'll do a couple a week, and then we talk about them in class. So just, even if you just do one a week, or one every 2 weeks, don't feel like you're on a timeline to do it. Because some of them will be easy, and some of them, the ones you think will be easy, will be hard, and vice versa. And there will be some emotions and a lot of tears and so on. And some of it will be anger. But I also sent you those frequencies, or the name of them, so you can look them up. What else did I send you? And then I sent you that book, The Becoming Nobody by Ram Dass.
Okay.
So, and that one, when you get tired of music, just let it play.
No, that's good. It's good. I feel like I've got a place to start now.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll book with you again and go over stuff as I start to understand it a little more, or if I need clarity. But this is good. This is, I feel like I've got a direction, and then I can just go at my own pace, because some days I've got all the time in the world to do stuff, and other days I don't.
Yeah.
I don't it to myself, and then other days I just don't have the energy, and it's been a lot of days like that, and some good has come out of it. I don't have to go back to, I'm not going back to work. I don't have to for a while, but at least not back to where I was, because it was killing me.
Yeah.
I told my husband, I was like, I just want you to be mentally prepared. I'm not, no matter what, because I had a workers' comp case going on. I just was like, no matter what happens, I'm not going back. And it ended up being really good, like a really good settlement. That was all great.
Good.
So I don't have to for a minute,
Good.
I've got years probably that I don't have to figure, you know what I mean? Like before I have to figure. So, so yeah.
That's good. So that gives you a nice cushion where you're not worried about other things. And you can, that's wonderful. Most people don't get that. So you're actually really blessed in that aspect, that you have that.
I'm aware, I'm grateful, and I'm aware. So even if I don't act like it sometimes.
No, I get it. I do. Trust me.
Heart, like I feel like, I don't know, when they talk about people being a Karen, I feel like I'm a Karen, just running around, just like yelling at people. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? What is going on? Except I'm not, yelling at people because they're trying to be like, live their authentic lives. I'm, or for, their race or their, whatever. I'm just yelling because, I don't know, because of traffic, and because of people cutting me off at the mark, or people getting in line in front of me. And I'm like, I'm not going to be taken advantage of. Oh, wait. They didn't see you standing there. Just relax, crazy.
Yeah.
So.
You're so
Just
funny.
need to get it together.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Pam is horrible in traffic.
Okay,
we go somewhere, I drive everywhere. Like, she hands me the keys to her car, and because her car is newer than mine, and so we drive her car everywhere. But yeah, she's like, here, like, I've ridden with her twice in the whole time we've known each other, and I'm like, and then she'll even say, like, why am I driving? I'm like, I have no idea, because you're screaming at everybody. I'm like, pull over, I'll drive, pull over, I'll drive.
Yeah.
So,
That's totally not be allowed out in public. Right now, I'm not allowed out in public.
oh my God, that's funny. I get it though. I get it. It's funny. Well,
Okay.
if you have questions, you feel free to message me. So I'm trying to get to them. I've got somebody that's fixing to help me with my messages and stuff. But if you need anything, if you just have a question or whatever, just say, hey, Mandy told me to message her. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And this has been good. This has been really good. I'm excited. I have a place to start. I'm gonna yeah.
Good.
I'm probably the weekend. We sold a bunch of my mom's stuff. I'm so happy about that. We sold a bunch of her stuff and people are coming to pick it up on Saturday. It was like an online auction.
Mhm.
So I feel like after that, I'll have some of this space will be cleared out. I can clean a little. I can, clean my mind, my heart, clean the house. And
I do love the chandelier in there. That's really pretty. I love that old school 70s, 60s, 70s look. I really love it.
Every room is a different chandelier, different light fixture, like the plates are on the light fixtures, all these little, just really cute. I mean, my mom had really, really cute taste. Mm-hmm. It's just, she had a taste for too much.
Yeah, no, I get that.
When, right before she passed too, I was like, what? This is just insane. And she was like, well, this way you can sell, like she was doing it so that I could sell it. Like, that's why she was hoarding the stuff. And I'm like, but this isn't, it's not helpful. Like, I'd rather just have less, I would rather have less and not have all of the, but, she did what she could and what she thought was right. And from, she was a child that came out of the Depression, like my dad. Mm-hmm. So they're crazy.
Yeah. They have to save everything.
They have to save everything. Mm-hmm. Because you might not have, you may never have it again. You might not have enough. And so, I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah. I can be angry all I want, but it's not going to change the situation. I think that's why I just need some direction. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you reached out and I'm glad that I could help you and give you some direction and the starting footsteps of where to go to process, your own path for yourself. So
thank you.
And I love your hair.
Appreciate it.
I love the color.
Oh, thank you so much. I do.
I've been looking at it the whole time. I just want to pet it.
Thanks. That was another thing that happened. I was like, no more. I'm doing what I want, like with my appearance, with the way I dress. I don't care if I look like a crazy person, if I'm dressed like a 4-year-old wearing a poofy skirt and rain boots, whatever. If that's what I feel like wearing today, I'm going to do that. Yeah. And it's been working for me. I feel like it's bringing my joy back. I had lost my joy for a few years. And I need to just express.
Good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I dress like a hippie dumpster fire a lot and I like it. It's fine.
It's fine. And if people don't like it, they don't have to look at it.
Exactly. Exactly. I feel that. All right, CP. If you need me, I'm here. So just message. I'm happy to help. It may take me a little bit to answer back, but I will always answer back. So
I get it. You're busy. All righty. Have a blessed day.
I will. You too, love. Bye.
Bye.